Hello, everybody. Welcome to a wonderful week of live streaming here at OSINT Curious. Stephen Harris, Nick's Intel, welcome to the live stream. How are you doing today?
I'm really good. I'm really looking forward to these. They fly by and they're really fun.
I agree. For those of you that don't know us, hi, I'm Micah Hoffman. I go by the handle WebReacher on social media. I'm the president of OSINT Curious, and Stephen is the secretary of OSINT Curious. And just an amazing person. Stephen, if I can just say, you are an amazing person. And I'm thrilled to be associated with you. We are part of the OSINT Curious project, and all week this week, our Stephen, myself, and other members of our project will be having some fun here on the live stream on Twitter, on Twitch, and on YouTube, getting the data out to you about ways that you can harvest open source intelligence information from the internet. We're also going to have some fun, as I mentioned, doing some things that maybe are exciting, like Geoguessr and geolocation, and maybe also doing some things that are going to extend your skill set. Like today, Stephen and I are going to show you just some basic things, how to get some files, get some programs from GitHub, and then install them on your local analyst workstation and get those working. So, yeah. Also, if you're new to the webcast, down below on the bottom of the screen tells you to please subscribe to our channels on whatever platform you're on. Also, there's our website, our handle, our Patreon patron URL, and the Searchlight Discord link. Let's see who we've got on here. So if you are on Twitch, Twitter, Periscope, or YouTube, give us a shout out. Say hello to us in your chat. We've got, let's see, Adi, Reset Flag. All right. Arnaud, Nosint, Smayan, Maxed Mon, and Adam so far. Welcome to you all. I see some of our loyal viewers out there, and some people that I know are excellent at geoguessing. So I think today, Stephen, we are going to crush this. We are going to have
25,000 points.
Yes. Yesterday we had a little bit of a problem, right?
Yeah.
Well, yesterday was kind of neat when we did the geoguessing, because what we had was analyst bias coming in there, right? We had for one of them, when we did we said it was the Canary Islands and it was really in Chile.
And there's a group bias thing too, because I think there were 5 or 6 of us, and as soon as one of us said, "Oh, I think it's here," we're like, oh yeah, and so all 6 of us are like, yes, and we were like 10,000 kilometers out. We got 10 points out of a possible 5,000.
We got 10 out of 5,000.
Yeah, it could not have been much worse.
Yep. So, so I mean that's an interesting thing for us, because we talk about ways of limiting bias in our reports and our investigations. We talk about using other things, but in the reality is sometimes when it's crunch time, you don't have time to really do some further investigations or some alternative competing hypotheses type of things. You just got to go in there. And
we did have a really strict time scale to work in as well, to be fair. When it
yeah. 3 minutes. Go. Hey, what's up, Griffin? All right, Maheen, welcome. All right, Valentin from Ecuador. Cool. We had some Ecuador GeoGuessr the other day, so we're gonna really need you. Ooh, the Beekeeper's Grandson. That's a new one. Cool. All right, welcome everybody. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna throw on the banner that shows what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be on geoguessr.com, and we're gonna be doing the daily challenge. Now, if you've already done the daily challenge, please wait until after we solve each of the challenge to participate here, because we want to try to solve it ourselves without cheating or getting any of the additional hints. Although, Nick's, maybe later in the week, we look in the JSON in the web developer tools and pull out the exact latitude and longitude, and we get a 25,000.
One of those people that gets 5,000 points every single time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we would do it for educational purposes to show about web developer tools, of course. Cool. So let's get into this. Let's see. Here we go. All right, so we have it up. Also, please note that we don't want you to do any Googling or searching or anything like that. Let's just use our brains for what we see on the screen. And please go ahead and put stuff into the comments when you know where we are. Awesome. Let's go. Here we've got the daily challenge. Ready, Nix? Here.
Yep, ready to roll, yeah.
We go. All right. We have 3 minutes per round, so we're going to need to act quick. And here's the first location. I see a building.
My immediate thought is that looks like the US, but then yellow license plates, are they a thing in the States?
Well, it could be yellow license plates and stuff. This is a Cadillac, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see where we're at. So this could be like New York, the yellow license plate with black.
Okay.
But we're driving on the, well, let's go look at the signs up here, because if any of them say miles per hour, Staten Island Ferry. Yeah, I'd say we're probably in New York. Well done. Well done. Yeah. So Sid says New York too. Let's see if we can figure out exactly where we are based upon these signs. FDR Drive, exit north.
Battery Park.
And Battery Park. All right. So, yep, New York City, but where in New York? Let's see. I know we're in New York. And we got Battery Park. Let's see. Are we in? See, now this is where it gets tough. I mean, we can go somewhere like Staten Island. We got Manhattan, but we're looking for the 1A, right? 9A. World Trade Center. Was that the World Trade Center back there? Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. That's one World Trade Center. Well, there you go. That makes it a lot easier. If we are here, let's see. The World
Is that
Trade
Battery Park in the bottom left? Is that? So I don't know New York at all.
That is Battery Park right here.
There's FDR Drive on the bottom right.
So we're like right over here somewhere?
I guess so. We can't be
far away. We've got a minute left. Let's keep going. We're on a straight road, right? And it mentions, I wonder, let's see. So the thing is behind us. Yeah. So the World Trade Center is behind us, and that one World Trade Center is where is it? I know it's here. All right, right side. Okay, thank you.
On the picture, was there an underground road next to the main road we were on? Was a road that dipped on the ground somewhere? I thought no, or maybe I didn't see.
I don't know. There's a big building right there. Let's see, by the ferry terminal. All right, so sorry everybody. All right, pressure's getting to me. So where do we think we are? I don't know. I don't think we're in the parks here. Somewhere over here, FDR. I'm looking for FDR.
FDR is on the actual coast, right along the seafront.
Oh, right over here. Oh, yeah. So they're saying it's here, but we're not on the water, are we? I mean, I don't see water here. Maybe in front of us. We got 12 seconds left. I'm gonna
maybe one block back. Maybe one block back from the waterfront. Oh,
we were over there.
Okay.
So the FDR was here, and the road was saying, "Hey, you can go to the FDR. Hey, you know what? I'll take 868 meters, though.
That is not bad.
Yeah, the beekeepers, the water is near, but wasn't right there. Wow, well done, everybody. So, Nix, I want you to tell us, how did you localize this to United States right off the bat?
Two things. First of all, is the buildings, the skyscrapers. There are very few places in the world that have that kind of architecture, and the vehicles. It's hard because you sort of go off your impressions. You don't think it through consciously, but immediately those don't look like European, Asian, Japanese vehicles. They look like American cars.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And for other people, it's like, yeah, for me, it was the World Trade Center itself. Okay, Sid, we get it. Yes, there was a building in the image that was from New York City. Well, that was great, everybody. What a great way to start off. All right, here we go. Round number 2. Now, I'm going to skip doing the geotips for this. This is geotips.net. This is a site that we use to, I was thinking the same thing, Horde, that New York and the license plates, but there was also the short license plates that were colorized. It wasn't the longer, wider EU type of plates or European license plates. We're going to skip geotips this time because looking at the United States in here is just not something that I think we need to do. Let's go to number 2. Here we go. Well done, everybody. All right. Here we are going to spin all the way around.
Right.
Low flat areas.
Looks flat. It looks
here's
warm.
palm tree. It could be Arizona, but it also could be like Botswana or something like that. Let's see what side of the street we're driving on. Oh, we're driving on the left-hand side of the street.
So
here.
Adelaide.
Australia. Hey, this
Adelaide, Australia.
This is Australia, yeah. Right, but where is this? So Adelaide and Tiburo.
I think Adelaide is in South Australia.
Wait, but I think that was the road going
that's the road going
Adelaide.
To. Okay.
So let's come up here and see if we see a road marker, and then we know here. All right, Wentworth, and then the road 32 to Adelaide to wow. All right, hey, I'll take it. Where's Adelaide down there?
There's Adelaide.
And where's 32? Here's 32. There we go.
Began with T, didn't T?
We need Wentworth. Here's Saddleworth. All right, so I'm looking here. The A32. Let's see, A32. Let's just zoom in a little bit more. For Wentworth and the other one, Tiburo. Let's see. Oh, we're out of that area, but let's see if we can. All right. Yeah, I thought it was going to be easy, darn it. It's like we have a road. And all right, so let's go back to it. We got a minute left. I'm going to go ahead and click over here, just somewhere there. And let's see if we can. Let's see. So Teeluborough and Adelaide. Adelaide's to the left. That's the north. Let's see. Any idea? Hey, Tig Diaz. All right. Now we know where we are, darn it. It's just a matter of finding. Let's just see if we can just look a little bit closer here on the map. Where's the Teeluborough? 32. Show me 32. Here's the 32. Wait. Oh, that was Templars. Maybe closer to Adelaide? I don't know.
So I mean, this is maybe further. It looks pretty remote, doesn't it?
That's true. It does.
It's a very built-up area.
All right. So you think maybe up here? I know that says Saddleworth instead of Wentworth.
Roughly.
All right. Well, we have 23 seconds. I'm not seeing those names. All right. Yeah. All right. We'll just go with it and see what happens. Oh, we were in the wrong province. No. So really, was it over there? Come on. I thought we looked at that. Broken Hill. We didn't see that. That's no fair. Where's Wentworth?
So even if you found that Teeluborough, wherever it was, it's probably halfway between those two towns, isn't it?
I guess.
But for Australia, 340 kilometers is pretty good.
yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true. All right. Yeah, that was a little. All right. So let's look at Australia. I know, Sid. Damn. Okay, so we're going to use the geotips.net and we're going to go to Oceania. I'm going to paste this right into the chat so you can play along with us. Let's learn about Australia. Now, the first thing we noticed was that the signs were facing us on the left-hand side of the road, which meant that we were in a left-hand driving country. And those automatically reduce the number of countries that we can go that are there. Also, the sign was in English and it mentioned Adelaide, which is in Australia itself. So that was something that we could do. Let's see here, bollards, road signs. Yeah. Didn't see any. Damn, look at that turtle with the huge neck. What's a bandicoot?
I thought that was a computer game, like Crash Bandicoot.
I guess maybe it's after a real animal. All right. Here's some license plates, which we didn't see. We didn't really see any phone numbers, but again, I was more focused on the map. They have the moon there, which is nice.
Oh, nice.
All right. Oh, Horg says when you're not zoomed in as much, you can see the second town. Darn it.
Okay.
All right. So here's the different ones. All right. This is a test. Okay. All right. So let's zoom out a little bit and let's see the other thing. Let's see if I can zoom out even more. Yep. I don't care. All right, here we go. Let's go on to round 3. We got this.
Okay.
Ooh, they're making it successfully worse, right? All right, so we are driving on the right-hand side of the road.
It looks hot, dry.
And there's a sign up there. Hang on, let's see if we can go to the other side of the highway.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Nice, right? Ankara.
That's Turkey.
It's 270. So let's see what road we're on. This is Ankara. And that other road. Let's see if it gives us like a sign to tell us what road we're on. Up here, maybe? All right. Cat. Oh. All right. So some food in 40 kilometers. What does that say?
That's like a danger of forest fire. So.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So we've got some mountains and desert. Gas station search. Okay. Yeah. Which one was that? That's a full gas station. Turkey drives on the left side. Really?
Do they?
All right. So what's over there that is in well, no, that's Ankara.
There's Ankara, and he was 270 kilometers away.
Yes, and this is a huge road, so I'm thinking either the O21 or 07, but the 07 doesn't go to Ankara. Not close to Aegean, closer to Syria. Okay. Yeah, so that would be down here, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, it looked pretty hot and dry, didn't it? So
yep.
Hot,
so
dry,
maybe
and flat with mountains in the distance.
All right. Let's see if we can see. Hang on. Let's go back and see what that other road, what that other sign said. The other city. I mean, just instead of us scrolling down the road here. Was it Aksaray? There it is, right here.
There it is. So 47k from Aksaray, and so it's got to be on the O21, right?
You think it's the O21?
I think so.
So I'm thinking it's right.
It's a big highway, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very big highway. It wouldn't. I don't think it'd be the E90. Although the E90 goes.
It does also go to Ankara, doesn't it?
South. So you think it's like over here, or on the O?
I wonder if there's a way to tell.
I don't know. All right. Well, I'm looking here. Tigdias and other people are saying like over here. I'm gonna split the difference. I'm gonna go right there. All right.
That's a good call, actually.
Oh, all right, Tigdias. Yep, you were right over there. But you know what? Hey, 36 kilometers. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we're on fire.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so let's go over. We're on fire. Ah, nice. Okay, so let's go over to the Asia. Let's see, or Europe. There's no. It would be Europe, probably.
It's going to be Europe, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So here's Turkey. So you can see here on the map that the geotips.net site notes which countries drive on which side of the road, because that's one of the prime distinguishing characteristics. It narrows down the countries quite a lot. Here you can see Turkey is blue, which is right-hand drive. Let's see. So we didn't see any flags. The language we saw not English signs, but signs that were easily readable to us. Ooh, dur for the stop sign. Interesting. Oh, so tourists, you're right. The sun position would have been good. That could have told us whether we were east, west, or north, south.
That's a good point.
Yep, very good point. So tourists, I'll toss that in there. Well done. Okay, so yep. So here's the coverage on the major roads. Wow, so that road was really a small, big road. All right. All right, so here we have some of the road signs. We did see this type of road. We were on that, and there, Ankara. Okay, cool. Well done, people. Thank you. All right, we're crushing it today. Let's keep going. Here we go. Round number 4. This feels European to me.
Yeah, European, kind of Eastern European. That language.
Bazant.
See that funny little accent above the Z
Yeah,
is an Eastern European
right there.
Yeah.
Okay, and there. Let's head right down here. Maybe there's the sign. So I'm thinking, yeah, definitely meaning alcohol. We
That looks
know.
Polish to me. That language with the
Well, wait,
W.
no, Smooth Bengali Market. What's that? This looks interesting. Hang on, let me move down a little bit further. See if we can. Yep. So I'm looking at the license plate here. We have blue on the left-hand side, long. So that would tell me Europe. Now look at that name, Samud Slogawi. That almost. I could go Polish.
Yeah, Poland,
but it has
or maybe
market.
Czechia, that kind of.
That's actually the name of the area, isn't it?
Not sure.
All right, Poland. Adam. Well, I'm going to go with Adam. Adam is one of our experts in Czechia and stuff. He says, let's see. I'm not seeing any Cyrillic.
No.
Right? Yeah. So let's see what's up on the sign up here on the left-hand side. I'm going to just come up here and turn around and see what it says here. It says, that is not helpful to me.
Something Olympic, something.
Yeah, exactly. There's Olympics, Vizon. Maybe some of our listeners know what that means.
Well, Adam suggested Slovakia or Czech Republic.
It's somewhere near the border between Slovakia and Czech Republic. Is that right, Adam? Poland has the accent above the Z. All right, so like over right here. Let's see. All right, well, I'm willing to trust our listeners here. But anywhere, let's see. So we are in a mountainous area, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely a hill up there between Poland and Slovakia or Czech. All right, so Poland and Slovakia. So let's just go with the trifecta right here in the middle, and we'll be there. All right, here we go. Let's see what you have chosen. Nice. Okay, so not too far away. Where was it? It was over here in, what's that? Slovakia. It was between the Polish and the Slovakian border.
Yeah, well, that's neat. Kind of in two countries.
Yeah, but well done. We narrowed it down, right? So, Nix, tell us how we some of the factors that we use to narrow this down to the EU and to this area.
So first of all, it was looking at the building styles, like the styles of the houses, look very Eastern European. And then it was the language things that we saw on the signs with the accents above some of the letters, which are common to, I guess, maybe 5 or 6 Eastern European countries.
Yep.
So it helps narrow it down at least to a few countries, and then it's trying to find the finer details like place names and things like that. But
yep.
Quite time for that.
Absolutely. And this is one of the things that I always look for when we're over there. You know, the blue on the left and then the long license plates tell me that roughly where it is. And then here's the language. Again, we're at geotips.net, and here's the language. And you can see those little carrots, upside down carrots on the top of like the C's and the D's and some of the other characters and some of the other letters as well. Cool. Nice. Well done. All right, people. Let's go ahead and do our last one. You ready, Nick?
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. We might be setting a very high. Oh, this is all right. You know, right off the bat, I was like Leaning Tower of Pisa, but that's not it, of course. All right. So we have scooters, short sleeves. We have this place here, which is some kind of Christian place.
Yeah, it looks like a. Yeah, definitely a church.
Yeah, I would say definitely Christian. Wait, here's a flag.
I don't recognize.
Hang on, let's go down that way. See what we got. Now, this is a trekker, most likely, not a Google Street View car, which means that let's get closer to this flag. That's unfortunately not going to help us out. But we have these seals over top of the doors. let's see what the race of the people are. I mean, we're looking here.
It looks European.
More flags the other way. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it does look European. We've got the orange roofs. All right, let's head down this way real quick and see if we can see anything. Oh, we're on a trekker, so they're taking us where they want us to go. I'm thinking Swiss. Could this be Vatican City, or is this not that area?
I think more Northern Europe or Northeastern Europe.
Okay, let's see what it says over here where the parking sign is.
See, a lot of those yellow diamond signs you get in Germany.
Amber Wiesbutis.
That is not German.
Well, maybe not the way I pronounced it, but there's some sign here. What are these flags?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's not Swiss.
I say somewhere like Lithuania, Estonia, one of the Baltic states, maybe.
Hang on, let's move forward and let's see if we can see these flags up here. Holland, really? You know what? I can almost see that, Siddharth. Oh, 59. Wait, what is that? Kieber? Something. Lithuania, not Holland. Death Knight says.
There's a yellow license plate on a car then, so.
Okay, and here's like the EU looking place. We have McDonald's.
Could be anywhere. You got Coca-Cola too. Could be anywhere.
Yeah, those were Lithuanian flags. All right.
Yeah, I think Lithuania is actually not a bad call. So maybe the capital of Lithuania, just by the size of the building, though.
Okay, so where are we looking here?
I think Vilnius is the capital.
What is
going to Vilnius?
Okay, let's do it.
Someone's going to correct me in a minute then.
Montenegro. Oh boy, here we go. Let's see.
Oh,
2.7 kilometers away. Hey, that was really good, actually. Let's see. So I picked Vilnius, but we were a little bit. Well, I picked like the center of Vilnius, and it was there. It was just a little bit outside of town. Hey, well done, man.
That was a good effort.
That was amazing. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Adi, for confirming it was the Lithuanian flag. That's another thing I think we're going to have to study one of these times, Nix, is flags of the world.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at let's look at Lithuania real quick, and then we'll check our summary, which I think is going to set a very high bar for us.
There it is.
Yeah, there's that flag, right? Yeah. All right. So the flag. And let's see the architecture of the church as an element, not Catholic. All right. Here we've got here we have that carrot on top of the upside down carrot on top of the S. Here's the light poles. Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia have different light poles, and you can tell them. Part of the EU. Let's see, scrolling down. And here we have the script based on the Latin. Okay. Cool. All right, let's see what we got here. Drum roll. 23.46. That's like our new high score. Jeepers. That was amazing. Thank you to our audience out there. I mean, that was really helpful for all of our guesses. Look at this. We got everything really close. That is amazing. You all are incredible.
And it pays off actually where we couldn't decide, being smart enough to put the marker exactly halfway between the two alternatives.
Yeah. Worked. You know what? I would have sworn in Turkey that we were on the bigger road, but I mean, I guess the bigger road, the O road would be even bigger. Well done. Thank you to our audience. You all are incredible. And that's one of the, like I've said before, that's one of the benefits of having such a wonderful international audience is you all are actually familiar with some of these countries that I've never been to. Yeah, well done.
Local knowledge when it comes to geolocation.
Yep. And even the one like in Australia, which sometimes is a stumper because it's just desert in many places. That was awesome. All right. Cool. So thanks for those of you that are just tuning in. We're the OSINT Curious Project. I'm Micah. That's Steven. Oh, sorry. That's Steven. And we just finished up the first half hour of our show doing Geoguessr. And now the next half hour of the show, one of the things that Steven and I wanted to do is dive into some some more advanced things that can help you out in your open source intelligence investigations. Stephen, how long have you been doing things with the Linux operating system?
With Linux, I guess maybe 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years.
I still feel like a newbie, though, I have to say, but it's one of those things that the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know.
Yeah, I hate that, but I love that too, because it spurs me to always keep learning. So one of the things that Stephen and I want to do all this week, and he's going to be on several times this week, is start to get deeper into using Linux, using Python tools, and using some command line tools to dig into some more advanced ways of gathering data. There's a whole bunch of free applications out there that, as long as you know how to download them, install them, and use them, can really help in your OSINT investigations. Let's get to it. For today's work, what we figured is, instead of diving back into the Linux command line, we thought maybe we'd take a tool. Now, Stephen, you and I discussed before the show a specific tool. Do you want to, you have some experience in using it, right?
Yeah.
You want to tell a little bit about it?
So the tool we're going to look at is called DNS Recon, and it's a Python tool. But what it does is, if you are investigating a website, for example, it will do a lot of automated tasks for you, like pulling out the A records, which tells you which IP addresses that particular domain is using. It will pull out subdomains, which will sometimes give you a little bit of extra insight into what's going on in that company. And it can do, although it takes a bit of time, it can do what we call reverse IP lookups. So if you think normally you might have a domain like google.com, and it will tell you google.com uses this IP address, we can do the opposite as well. We can start with an IP address and find out which other companies and services are using the same infrastructure. So yeah, DNS Recon is awesome because it does all that for us.
Absolutely. And to answer Robin's question over in the chat, Robin asks, will it be tools applicable to other operating systems? Robin, that's an excellent question. I'm using Linux in my virtual machine, but the tools that we're going to be, I'm going to show you, the DNS Recon tool, is a Python-based tool. And Python works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. So no matter what platform you're on, you should be able to use the tips that we're going to be giving you in the next half hour to download, install, and run the DNS Recon tool. And then I think what I'll do is I'll give you a little example of what we can do with the tool, just to show you how cool it is. Now, some of you on your analyst platforms are probably not going to have access to Python or maybe even a command line tool, but knowing that this stuff is out there can be very useful to you. All right, you ready, Nix?
Yeah, let's go.
Here we go. All right, so I'm going to run this. So here we've got the DNS Recon tool, and I posted this into the chat. This is something that's very common. GitHub is a wonderful repository of lots of different tools, lists, and other projects that are out there. And later on in the week, we'll get into a bunch of some of the other things that are in there. For our purposes, when we get to a page like this, one of the things that I want you to do is scroll down. You get all of these files and stuff, and some people look at that and go, I have no idea what to do. Well, scroll down and you get the contents of the README file. And usually in the README file, it tells you a little bit about the script, who wrote it, why, and then sometimes it'll tell you how to download and install it. In this case, though, it just says DNS Recon requires Python 3.6 or higher. That's the plus. All right, so let's go ahead and download and install this. And for this, I'm going to use the terminal window. Here, I'm going to copy this URL, copy, and on my Linux system, I have the Git tool. If just typing in the word Git shows me that I can use that command because it's installed on my system. If it's not installed in your system, then when you run Git, your system will tell you, hey, you don't have access to that command. Either brew install it, or apt get it, or use whatever package manager you're using to install that tool. All right, so these are all the different things I can do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type git. Oh, I'm going to actually change directories, or cd, into my tools directory. Now, one of the things I like doing is organizing my stuff. I put all my tools in the tools directory. I know, crazy, right? Yeah, I know, radical. But this helps me find my tools later on, especially if I just install them locally here. Okay, so let's take a look at how we download this. You see I've already got some tools downloaded, like the Profiler tool here, or Spiderfoot, or some of these other ones. Let's grab this tool, let's grab all of the files in this project and bring it down to my system. To do that, I'm going to git clone, and then I'm going to paste that URL in there. And this URL is the exact same one that I copied from here. And this just tells my system, go out to GitHub, grab all the files in this project, and make a directory called DNS Recon. And that's the name of the project there. So now if I cd into DNS Recon, and I look at what's in here, these files, the bin directory, the changelog.md, the dnsrecon.py, if I come back over here, I should see the bin directory, the changelog.md file, and other ones. So this is, I've just pulled down all of those files. Cool. Now, the next thing we need to do is look at what we need to do to install this. Now, sometimes that'll be in like an installs file. Sometimes it'll be in the README. And sometimes, well, you just have to know. So I'm going to more README. And you can see this README file is the markdown of this page right here. So it doesn't really have any tips in it for how that we should install it. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to install it first, you need to have Python on your system. So I have Python. If I do a Python 3 and version, you see I have, Python 3.8.5. Okay, it needs version 3.6 or above, so I should be fine.
Should we mention maybe, because it's a problem that came in the last year or so, that a lot of people who might have virtual machines are possibly running an older version of Python, which is Python 2.7. And and that's not supported anymore, but if you go and find tutorials on GitHub and some of those READMEs, it will say Python, and you'll find that actually that version of Python doesn't work anymore. So it's important to do what you've done there and check what version you're actually using. That saves a lot of pain later on.
Yeah, definitely. And this is just one of those Linux things that my Python on my system is called Python 3. You see when I ran the Python 3 -- version here, it came back with Python 3.8.5. When I did Python 2, as Nix was mentioning, and did a -- version, it says, hey, I can't find this. You can install it. Don't install it. But it's just letting me know that I'm not running Python 2. Also, if I just typed in Python -- version, it says, ooh, it's not installed either. Did you mean Python 3? So I know that all my commands need to be Python 3. However, on your system, your Python program, Python version 3, might be called Python or Python 3. So you can use this to figure out how to do that. Cool. So Python has a package manager that comes with it. It's called pip. And if for Python 3, there's pip3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pip3 install. I'm going to install some modules. And let's see this. We're going to look in the requirements document here. The requirements document, which is right up here, this file contains all of the extra modules and libraries that DNS Recon needs to run. And they tell it to you here. Hey, get DNS Python on your system, NetAdder, LXML, etc. on your system, and then you can run this tool. So what we need to do is tell my system, hey, download all this stuff. And to do that, pip3 install -r fire. And that's essentially saying, hey, run the Python package manager or module package manager, pip, and we want to install whatever files are in this resource file, whatever modules are in the resource file in the requirements. And if everything goes well, what we should see is, hey, downloaded all these different things, everything was successful, and now what we should be able to do is just run DNS Recon. So I'm going to do Python 3. I did the / here. Oh, let me take that command that I just ran here and I'll throw it into the chat just in case you're following along at home. Oh, hang on. There you go. All right. Now, so once that happens, I'm hoping that on your system, when you're running this, it gives you all those successes. Now, what we're going to do is just run the dnsrecon.py using Python 3, and I'm going to issue the -h command. And what that's going to do is that's going to give me a hopefully a help file that shows all the different switches and flags I can use to run the program. Now, next, when we were talking about Linux last month, I mentioned that using command line tools, in my opinion, is like learning a foreign language, right? You have vocabulary, and you have syntax, right?
Yep. Yeah, but fortunately, there are some things that are common. So that -h flag or -- help is pretty common across most Linux and Python tools. So if you ever get stuck, then it's really helpful to know.
Absolutely. And so what we have here is you can run the dnsrecon.py program, Python program, on Linux, Mac, or Windows, as long as you have the requirements in there. And then each of these things in the square brackets are options. You can use them or not, your choice. And you can see down here all of the different options. Now, I've increased the size of the font in my window so that you can see it better. And so that's why some of this data is wrapping around. But here we have a -d for a domain. Okay. Some of you might want to do some of those enumeration types of, not attacks, but just enumeration type of exercises. Oh, here we go. Hang on one second. There we go. So we might want to do some of these type of enumeration type of activities, like performing a Yandex enumeration or using crt.sh HTTPS certs. This tool can query DNS, but also can do a bunch more as well. And it's all free. It's awesome. All right, let's take a look at this. Here's output formats. We can save the output in an XML file, a CSV, or a JSON file. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something that is, well, I'm going to run this command. I'm going to pick a domain on the internet that I know is, well, has some interesting things in it. And then what we're going to do is once DNS Recon runs and grabs the DNS records from this domain, we're going to tell it to do what Stephen asked it and what Stephen mentioned earlier, do a reverse lookup on each of those IP addresses. You'll see that. And that's the -w command here. So let's just do this. I'm hitting the up arrow. I'm going to specify a domain. All right. So for this example, this is I'll copy this and put it right into our chat here. This is my command that I'm going to be running. All right. And what this says specifically is I want to use Python to run the dnsrecon.py file in the current directory, specify a domain of panerabread.com. That's a website and domain that's out there. And then do whois lookups on it when we're done. What it's going to do first is grab all of that wonderful DNS information. Now, this is just querying DNS servers. It's not running any attacks. We're not doing anything crazy. It's just asking servers, hey, what do you know about this domain? And
what we should probably point out that so Akash just mentioned in chat about brute forcing, because that has sometimes negative connotations in security because people try and brute force passwords, but that's not what is happening here. It's not. The Panera Bread won't even know that we're doing this because we're not even touching their server. We're just asking DNS servers. So it doesn't have an impact on their server directly.
Yeah. So Excellent point. And thanks for calling our attention to that. We are not hacking. We're not doing anything bad. We're using the internet the way it's supposed to work. And there's servers out there called domain name servers that translate domain names and host names into IP addresses and translate those IPs back to host names and DNS names, or host names and domain names. And what we're doing is just saying, hey, show me the records associated with this domain. That's all. You could use something like domain tools or centralops.net or host.io to do the same thing via a web page. We're just using this tool, and you'll see why in just a moment. All right, so on the screen here, you can see a whole bunch of information. Now, what I'm going to do is ask our audience to point out anything interesting that you see, like, well, first off, tell me who Panera Bread uses for their mail. Can anybody tell me who they use for their mail? Let's see. We'll wait. For those of you, well, we're waiting for somebody to respond here. For those of you that don't know about DNS, we have different types of records. We have NS, MX, A, TXT, and other ones. And maybe we'll give a primer on domain name system later on in the week. So they do not use Google for their mail. They're using these records. And these records tell you who takes the mail for this customer or for this domain. Here we have Panera Bread, and they're using the iphmx.com domain. Now, if this was somebody using, as somebody mentioned, was using somebody that was like using Google, we'd see Google servers in there, or Microsoft's for Office 365. But in this case, we see iphmx. Yeah, some other people are pointing out some stuff here. Yeah, Sid says, hey, look, they use Dropbox. Now, one of the neat things about using open source intelligence for DNS is you get access to some really interesting things that are sometimes internal to organizations. For instance, Stephen, when your site is going to, when you own a domain and you need to prove that you own that domain, what is something that you have to do in your DNS?
Well, let's say, for example, I want to prove I use G Suite, and I want to prove to Google that I own a domain, which makes it more secure. It stops people impersonating me. Google will give me a unique piece of code, like one of those random strings that you see there, and I'll have to put that in my DNS record, in my public DNS record, and then Google will check, yep, that's the code we gave you, so we know that you're legit and that you really are in control of that domain. So it's a way, it's kind of verification really to make sure that you are who you say you are and that you do really own what you claim to own.
Exactly. And so that happens for a lot of different services out there, not just mail or web, but as Sid points out, Dropbox. At some point in time, PaneraBread.com was configured to use Dropbox, or maybe the company was configured to use Dropbox. And so they had to put this verification ID into their DNS. And then Dropbox does a public DNS lookup for these text records, these TXT records, looks down through them for one that says Dropbox-domain verification. And if this string matches what they gave whoever said that they wanted to set up Dropbox, then that company or that person can set up Dropbox. Here we also see Atlassian. We see other ones in here as well as a Cisco domain verification. Huh. Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking at the chat, and some of you are already ahead of it. Yeah. So some people say there's a Cisco Iron port. Some people are saying, hey, they have voice over IP. Yeah, we are looking at information that is public. Now, OSINT has pointed out, hey, we're touching the DNS server for Panera Bread, so they are going to know that we're looking at them. And in this case, you're absolutely right. But with DNS Recon and other tools, I can query a third-party DNS server like Google's DNS server at 8.8.8.8 or Cloudflare, or I can query anybody's DNS server and say, hey, what do you know about that domain? And that keeps me even farther away from interacting with my target domain. So in this case, you're absolutely right, OSINT. We queried their DNS server, but we did it in a way that's very common on the internet. And I would imagine that there's a lot of places that are doing this to them right now.
Yeah. And they set DNS servers for that purpose. That they expect people to know. Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at one of the cool things that we can do. Now, keep in mind all of those wonderful things that you all were talking about in the chat, that, hey, you see words in here like Dropbox and words in here like Cisco. Keep in mind that as we go to the next step, because what I did when I ran this tool was said, hey, look at panerabread.com, but also -W. For each one of these IP addresses, look up who owns that IP address. And then when I tell you which one to query, it's going to then do a reverse lookup of every IP address in a certain range. So what we're essentially going to do is take a range of IP addresses and ask the DNS server, hey, do you have anything associated with this? Do you have anything associated with this next one? And you'll see that in the results here. Again, all of this is public. None of this is hacking. We're just making queries to DNS servers that are on the public internet. So what I'm probably interested in is not IPHMX's IP addresses. I don't care about the 68s. I don't care about level 3s, 209s. I'm more interested in this 204.52 IP address. Yeah, 204.52 looks like a whole bunch of stuff that's hosted by Panera. So what I'm going to do is down here, you see that because I issued that -W, we have the performing whois lookup. And there's a little bit of a problem. It didn't say, oh, this is level 3 and oh, this is IPHMX. But you see the range right here, this 204.52. That's the range that is something for Panera Bread. So that's what we want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just click here and say, choose those IP addresses. And these IP addresses are from 204.52.196.0 to 196.255. So there's 255 IP addresses there. What it's going to do when I hit enter is it is going to make a request for every single one of those IP addresses. And then the DNS server will say, oh, I have something for that IP address. And that's what you see right here. So we're just doing reverse DNS lookups based upon a known range of IP addresses that your target has. Let's take a look at what we got. Now, one of the reasons for doing this is to find, like Steven said, find those subdomains that you might not know about, or find websites or services or other interesting things that you might need to know about some target domain. Here we see origin www.panera.ca. This IP address is for Panera in Canada. Yeah, that probably isn't that interesting, right? But here we have an iPortal. We have test.panerabread.com. If we come up here, we've got these weird ones here. PVILXWS pre-production, panerabread.com. We have Wallet Pass, Mirakai Connect. So what we're not only seeing now is we're not just seeing host names, we're seeing descriptive host names that may have functionality. In fact, before I move up further here, can any of our listeners tell me what the name of Cisco's VPN product is? What's the name of Cisco's software VPN product? Pause. I know everybody's right now Googling Cisco's software VPN. Somebody's got it. Come on. Oh, I think that'll be copyrighted if I can't sing that song. The reason why I ask for that is that the more information, the more, yeah, there you go, Peter, you got it. Peter says AnyConnect. Now, what we can do is look in the names of these systems for like vpn.panerabread.com or things like iPortal tests or HipChat. If we keep going up, I bet we will see something like hang on. There it is.
There we go.
So we have found a host, anyconnect.panerabread.com. AnyConnect is Cisco's VPN product, and Panera is configured to have a host name associated with it. So we haven't necessarily found the VPN for Panera, but we found a potential host that might be the VPN endpoint for Panera just by looking at what DNS names are out there. Now, there may not be any services associated with any of these records. This is just what's in DNS. There might not be a web server out there named delivery pre-production panerabread.com or FTPS. Those might have been decommissioned years ago. But using this technique, we've now discovered a whole bunch of different systems out there that may have interesting connections to some things that we want to do. Yeah, exactly. So Tira says, hey, there's some development things. Absolutely. There's not only development systems that we see, but there's also PaneraCloud.com, which I didn't show you. But if you wanted to do this yourself, you could do that as well. So we're getting other domains, other host names, and other places that we might be able to look for things. So that was a really quick demo of finding a tool on GitHub, downloading it, running that pip installation of all the little prerequisites, figuring out how to run it, and running it and getting some meaningful output. What do you think, Stephen? What did I miss?
I think that was awesome, 10 out of 10. But in all seriousness, it's great because when you're trying to explain to people the benefits of using command line and Python tools, like if you had done that manually via a web browser, that would have taken you quite a long time to do that. But yeah, that's great, and it speeds up a lot of that early research and gives you stuff to work with from the get-go. It's great.
Yeah, and you bring up a really good point that a lot of the Python tools that are out there may have web-based components. Maybe, Stephen, later on in the week we can do some like DNS twist or something like that.
That would be.
Yeah, but a lot of them have web-based components. So if you're looking at that going, I will never be approved to run some random person's open source software on my analyst platform, you might not need to. You can use security trails. You can use PulseDive. You can use a whole bunch, Host.io, a whole bunch of different systems out there, free and paid, to do similar things to what I just did here. This is just one way, and it's a pretty illustrative way of using a Python script to do things faster than we can do it personally, manually. Cool. Steven, other stuff? We good?
I think, yeah, my head is buzzing with all that we've done. I love, there are lots of different DNS tools around, but DNS Recon is still my favorite. I don't know about you, but yeah, it's still the one I use the most.
Well, it's still my favorite, and it still works. You mentioned to me privately, which I'll now tell everybody publicly before the live stream started, that a lot of the old Python tools that we used to use are broken or just don't work anymore. And that's something that's frustrating, but DNS Recon still working. It's made by Carlos Perez, the dark operator, just to throw that out there. Carlos has been an amazing supporter of the cybersecurity community for a long time. Great person too. All right, Stephen, I'm going to call this a wrap. Yeah. Cool.
That'd be good. And we got our all-time high score on Geoguessr.
I know. I think we set the bar way too high, but I love it. Yeah. So, come back the rest of the week. We're going to be here I'll be here the rest of the week. I know Steven's going to pop in and out throughout the rest of the week. We're going to be doing some interesting things all week. We'll try to dive into some other tools maybe that you're interested in. Maybe we'll play around with some social media, scraping data, processing data, whatever. We'll do some other things. So remember to send in your comments and what you'd like to see us do. Other than that, I thank you very much for subscribing to our channels, for sponsoring us on Patreon, and for hanging out with us for the past hour. And mostly, thank you for helping us get that high score in Geoguessr. That was amazing. I'm thrilled. All right, everybody. Well, Stephen, I guess until next time, we'll say stay OSINT curious, right?
Curious, everyone. And thank you for joining us. It was great.
Yep. Take care, everybody.
Bye.